Hello, Geometry. This is Miss Butler again, and today we're going to start into some angles, definitions, and notation. So you should have done this warm-up on your own. So if you haven't, please pause and do the warm-up. Okay, and then I am not going to go through this with you. I'm going to have you go through that with your groups tomorrow or whenever you go through this practice stuff together. Okay, so start of notes. Angles are formed by two rays, officially, with the same vertex, which is also the end point. Okay, but the end point is officially called the vertex of the angle. The rays are considered the sides. So the sides of the angle. Okay, and in geometry, angles are measured in degrees and can be measured using a protractor. We are not going to learn how to use a protractor. You've probably done it a couple of times in the past, but we are going to skip that. Okay, so an angle, you have two rays, and then the endpoints where they meet is called the vertex. So these are the sides, and that's the vertex. Okay, generally you're going to have points on each of the rays and a point on the vertex. So this would be angle A, B, C. You're going to name the angle with B in the middle of the name. Okay, notation for angle. So it's sort of a sideways capital L, stands for angle. And then to make it very obvious, sometimes you put a little curve in it. So that's the angle symbol. So that would be angle, and this would be angle A, B, C. Notice that B is in the middle of the name. So another way you could name it would be going the other direction. So C, B, A. Okay, a couple of things that you could see that don't always work. Sometimes you'll see people just say angle B, but that doesn't always work. So you do need to be careful about using angle B. For example, if there was another angle here, and you said angle B, I don't know if you're talking about this angle or the big angle. So this sometimes is not specific enough, so I would avoid that. I would avoid that generally. Okay, next is, so the practice, we're going to save this to do with your groups. So we're going to skip that piece. And then we have some more definitions. So these words, most of them you should have obviously learned a couple of years ago probably, but acute angles have measures that are less than 90 degrees. Right angles have measures that are equal to 90 degrees. And obtuse angles are between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. Straight angle equals 180 degrees. So a little picture to go with each one of those. Acute angle. So an acute angle is going to be smaller than 90 degrees. So you should have some indication in here. Make that like 45 degrees. But there should be some indication that it's less than 90 degrees. Equal to 90 degrees. So 90-degree angle will look something like this. And in order to indicate a 90-degree angle or right angle, you will see a little square in the corner. So that little symbol in the corner indicates that is 90-degree angle or a right angle. Between, so I'm going to draw it this way this time, but between 90 and 180 will look something like this. But again, you should have some indication of the measure to know for sure that it's obtuse. And then a straight angle is just what it sounds like. It is just a line. And so from this ray to that ray would be 180 degrees. Okay, on the back. So when two angles have the same measure, they are called congruent angles. Okay, congruent is the equals of geometry. So if you're looking at this picture, these two angles are both 53 degrees. So notation-wise, to mark the picture, you can just put the same little curve inside the angle, and that indicates to people that those angles have the same measure or they are congruent to each other. So angle CBA, so angle CBA here, would be congruent to angle PQR. And you can name it as PQR or RQP, but Q needs to be in the middle. Okay, there's also notation for the M in front. That M stands for measure. Okay, so the measures are equal, but the angles are congruent. And you'll get used to that notation, but you would say the measure of angle CBA is equal to the measure of angle PQR. And you could even say those both equal 53 degrees. Okay, so when you're just doing angles, you have to use the congruency symbol. When you're doing the measures, you use the equals symbol. Next, bisect. So again, bisect, bis 2. So that splits into two congruent parts. Or in other words, that's when they have equal measures. Trisect, so like a tricycle has 3 wheels. Trisect is split into 3 congruent parts, or 3 equal measures. Okay, last big concept is the angle addition postulate. So if I have a picture over here, and if point B is in the technical word here is in the interior of angle AOC. So let's label AOC. O is going to be the corner or the vertex. And then A and C can go on either of the sides. Okay, so if point B is in the interior is this region here. So I'll just put B right here. So if B is in the interior of AOC like it is here, then, now this is a technical statement and then I'll explain what it means. Then the measure of angle, we're going to look at this smaller angle first, angle COB. So the measure of angle COB plus, okay, maybe I'll do a different color. This angle next to it, which is BOA, so the measure of angle BOA, those are going to add up to be the big angle. So that big angle, which would be either AOC or COA. Either way, you can write it. Okay, but really all this means is that the two small angles add up to the big angle. That's all that it means, just like you did segment addition. Okay, so on the next part, let me just give you a couple of hints on these questions. So a big hint for all of this stuff is that you want to label the angles in the picture. Okay, you should always, always, always do that. Label your picture. Okay, whether you're doing segments or angles, label the picture. So just to start, you would say if the measure of angle ABC, so I'm going to identify ABC. ABC would be this angle here. And I know that that's going to be 25 degrees. So I'm going to label that in there. Okay, and then I'm going to go on and label the next one and then answer the question. But you want to label the picture. Okay, hint on the next one. So look at this picture, first of all. What you should notice here is that this is a straight angle. So my hint here, these form a straight angle. So you're going to want to remember what a straight angle measures, because that is going to help you set up your equation. Okay, and then the last one, that word bisects. So remember just above here on the notes, bisects means you're going to have two congruent angles or two equal measures. Okay, they're going to be equal. So that's another big hint. That word bisects helps you set up that equation. Okay, those are my hints for you. You are going to be doing this practice though with your groups. So save that for the group time. Okay, we'll see you soon.